Welcome back to the combo, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Just real quick, I wanted to share a couple words with you. First of all, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. I really appreciate you. And thank you for just, logging in, checking it out. And our podcast, once again, is called Off the Block. Ags Off the Block. My name is Agner, and this is Off the Block. And the purpose is just to highlight, things in our community, what's taking place, but also to highlight, I always say that there's numbers and all these things in our communities that are negative, but also we need to highlight those people that are doing good in our communities, have powerful stories to share. Today, I interview a young man that he was homeless, and now he's an owner of a restaurant. So real quick, I just wanted to share that. Thank you. Once again, leave a comment. Give me some thumbs up, okay? Subscribe, share it with your friends. Just real quick, I wanted to share a story that as I was thinking about, and how we love our mothers, or in our communities, how moms are so vital and important. And I remember back in the days, I will say it was like 10 years ago, we were working with this young boy. Let's call him, his name was O, okay? Another O. But this young man, I knew him. We were just in a community doing things, and I knew this young man. His name was O, but he was only 12 and 13. And I remember we were like just trying to mentor him, just trying to be there for him, trying to guide him. We're helping him to do some right things. In middle school, he got into trouble. So we said, well, let's surround this guy with positive people. So we started helping him. But now O had an older brother that he was a documented gang member. He was a gang member. He was legit in and out of jail, started going to prison and everything. And he had that influence at home, but his mom was such a lovely mom, And I remember we would go visit him at his house. We would see him at school. We would see him in the community. Sometimes he would come and visit us. And O was a quiet kid. That's all I always say. You never know who's the ones that are going to, end up doing some wild things in the future. He was quiet. Sometimes you got to be careful with the quiet ones, not the loud ones. You always have those loud ones that bark, and usually the ones that are loud, like they have a small body, like a little chihuahua, They sound loud. They sound like like they have a big bark, but no bite. But I remember O was real quiet, calm. He'll be there in the middle, listening. He wouldn't talk a lot. He was kind of shy and everything. Well, later on, as he went to high school, O started hanging out more with the homies, And I remember sometimes we would drive around, we would see, hey, there's O, and we would talk to O. But now O was dressing different, more like a homie. And we started asking things about his brother. He's like, oh, my brother just got out, and he's, And then we heard that O was starting being active. Now we heard he was having a nickname. Now we heard O is hanging around with documented gang members, little by little, and he started going that route. But we didn't pay a lot of attention because O was quiet. Once again, like I told you, and O always just walked and just took his, took his life serious. He was doing good in school and everything, but yet he was dressing like a homie. And then what happened was one day, I remember we went to visit him at his house in the middle of the day. It happened that it was in the middle of the day, but that day we went to visit him, me and my friend, and he started acting different. That day he was kind of sketchy. He was short, he was like, he wouldn't invite us in. Usually we invite us in. He wants some water and we would chat, but this time he was kind of different. So we're like, okay, let's go on. We went on with our day. Well, like 4 days later, I remember I was going by his house and the whole SWAT team was there. And I was like, man, what's going on? And so I called my friend. He's like, hey, guess what happened? I seen the SWAT team by O's house and all this. And he's like, oh, it's probably his brother. So I thought maybe nothing to it, But later on, come to find out that week, in the middle of the week, I think it was a Wednesday or Thursday, there was a shooting at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. In the middle of the day, there was a shooting in the other side of town, So what had happened was that day when we went to visit O, he was acting weird because he was the shooter. It happened in the middle of the day. O didn't go to school that day, and he went across town to the other side of the tracks, to the other neighborhood, and he probably went gang banging, right? In the middle of the day. And he went to the other side of town and he found someone. And where he found someone in the middle of the day, he chased them and he shot them. And, happened what happened. And so it was kind of weird. Like, so we were like talking to the mom and she started telling us this, where they're charging him. And we're like, what? There's no way O could have done that. There's no way. And his brother was older, he was acting and everything, but nothing happened to his brother. But come to find out that day that we went to visit him, that was literally the day after he had committed the homicide. And he had committed a homicide the day before. They were looking for a certain vehicle. They found the vehicle. It happened at and somebody else, or I don't know if it was just him. They went and they did this jale across town, and they committed a homicide. So then later on, when started in his court system, they were trying to get him and try him as an adult. His mom, the love of a mom, little mom, young mom. She used to work at 7-Eleven. She was so humble, beautiful woman, and still see her today. To this day, I still see her. And I remember I talked to her, and then come to find out that the victim's family also, I knew the mom. So I would go talk to the victim, try to encourage them, and I knew the shooter's mom too. So I would talk to the shooter's mom. And I remember they went through the court system and everything. Well, he ended up getting 25 to life. And that was about 10 years ago. And he went right now he's doing a 25 to life sentence. He just called me about last month. And, I asked him, so what happened? And he said, you know what? You guys advised me. My mom advised me. Everybody advised me. But that day, I chose to make the wrong decision. And sometimes the choices that we make will change our whole entire future, our whole entire life. So that's why it's important to think before you make a decision. Because today, sits in prison, calls me every so often, checks up on me. I'll check out on him, see how he's doing. He's doing a 25 life sentence, right, for a homicide. That he knows, he's like, I just made the wrong decision, I did the wrong thing that day. And it was in a bright daylight at 12 o'clock, on 13th Avenue. He went and committed the homicide, and who wins out of that? Nobody does. Our community, he's in prison. The other family misses their son, he's gone, right? And nobody wins. And at the end of the day, the sad part, listen to this, the sad part about this whole story that I'm telling you, that the mothers, they knew each other. And I remember when I told the mom, actually she told me, the mom of the victim, she told me, I know who did it. And I was like, who? Because I knew already, but I was like, how do you know them? He goes, I knew him since he was a little kid. He goes, I know his mom. I know his whole entire family. Imagine that. That in the same community, how many guys know each other, even though they're in rival areas, they know each other. And that's why our communities, and we have a lot of parents like that. It's sad to say that the moms knew each other, and yet their kids didn't know each other, but just because they live in one side of the tracks, that happened. So today, is in prison. I pray and I hope that one day he'll get out, that he will get a second chance, because he was only 16 when he went into prison, and he committed the homicide, and he knows. And I don't know if somebody else influenced him to do that crime that night, that day, because it was in the daytime. But I just wanted to share that story because it's sad. At the end of the day, who wins? Nobody wins. We lost a life. There was a life that's out of our community. and there was another life that is out of our community too, but is in prison for the rest of their life. And I just wanted to share this today because, today our communities are hurting, and a lot of cities, and a lot of Hispanic communities, they are hurting. And that's why we need to support our communities. And let's do what is right, Before you make a decision, think about it. If you're young out there, listen, if you're young out there and you think about crazy decisions like that, just think about it. Breathe 10 times before you do anything like that, because you can end up in prison for the rest of your life. And nowadays, when people go to prison, sometimes they don't make it out. Or when they go to prison, sometimes they end up picking up more time, picking up a life sentence. That's why don't even go to prison. That's why don't even commit crimes. Do what is right. I heard somebody told me this a long time ago. Do what is right and fear no man. Okay, so that's it. That's my story. Thank you for listening to the conversation. Once again, my name is Agner. I appreciate all my subscribers and some. And don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment right there down below. Even a thumbs up or just a smile, or you don't like this story or whatever. There's more stories that I want to share. Personal stories, but also of individuals that I have worked and helped throughout the years, and some of them made the right choices and some of them didn't make the right choices, but we can learn from each other. Thank you once again. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.